Hi, I'm Matt Thibeault, bringing you a pre-recorded address from the heart of the University of Illinois, the Music Education Annex. I've put a copy of this presentation on YouTube along with links to all the documents I mention. In order to foster a creative approach to music education, I'll present to you 3 practices that encourage reflection and awareness of issues surrounding creative rights in the classroom. First, I'll talk about a creative rights permission form. Second, I'll talk about a creative rights food pyramid. Lastly, I'll talk about a digital sandbox for creativity. I'm interested in moving the conversation from a compliance approach that views students and teachers as thieves and pirates to one that centers and focuses upon the cultivation of creativity and innovation in the arts classroom and across the curriculum. Let's talk about the creative rights permission form. I believe music educators should encourage their students to be creators and innovators, and I think that they should all understand that the origin of copyright in the United States was to promote progress in science and the arts. Anytime my students finish a creative work that they have recorded or turned in, I have them complete an accompanying creative work permission form. The primary function of the form is to let me know what they will allow me to do with their creative work, but it also serves to help educate the students about the rights that accrue around works that they create. Students also have an opportunity to choose what license they'd like to use, from standard copyright to Creative Commons, all the way down to a Creative Commons public domain declaration that opens up the work for the entire world to immediately use. It also has a secondary effect in reversing the power role, where the student gets to tell the teacher what they can and can't do, which you can imagine my students enjoy. When students start to understand what rights they have around their own creations, a natural next step is for them to start questioning what rights they have regarding everything in the curriculum. I think it's important to ask, what rights do students have to use the works that we give them? If I give a student a musical composition, do they have a right to record it, to share it? Can they do these things legally, or do they require permission? One approach that I have taken is to use a creative rights food pyramid to describe what I call the ideal creative diet. Most of us are well aware of the standard food pyramid by the USDA, and the creative rights food pyramid builds on these same understandings. The largest part of the student diet should consist of works that come from the public domain and works that they themselves create. No restrictions exist over these works, and students can do anything they like: copy, share, remix, sell, and even wreck the works that they receive. Nearly as important are works that come from the Creative Commons, which is a sublicense that allows users to remix, reuse, and resell. The Creative Commons allows the user to stipulate some uses, such as attribution, sharing, commercial use, and remixing. Many works that are under copyright are nevertheless freely available. This includes the live shows of the Grateful Dead, anything on YouTube, etc. Because it has the greatest number of restrictions, and because every student would have to pay to have a copy of a work outside of class, works that are not freely available and under copyright, in my opinion, should form the minority of works that students encounter in their music program. All this talk about rights sometimes freaks my students out, and so I think it's important for students to know that they can do anything they want in pursuit of their education, as long as they understand they can't freely redistribute or sell that work. In my class, we refer to this as a digital sandbox for creativity. Many projects that my students do contribute greatly to their education, but would be a flagrant violation of copyright if the works were sold or distributed. Still, the educational value of these transgressions can't be underestimated, and I hope that these practices encourage my students to reflect on how their own practice can encourage their students to become creators and innovators, and to allow learning to trump copyright compliance in the classroom. I'm sorry I wasn't able to make it to the conference, and thanks for putting up with my digital presentation. I hope these ideas get you thinking, and I hope that if you have a chance to work with your students using some of these approaches or similar approaches, you'll get in touch and share your results with me. Thanks again.